Efforts to end the Ukraine conflict gained momentum, with US President Donald Trump reaching out to the main stakeholders of the conflict, Russia and Ukraine, by calling both Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy in separate phone calls. The US president has set the ball rolling as he instructed officials to begin talks on ending the conflict. Trump said Putin wants the war to end, and they discussed getting a ceasefire in the not-too-distant future. The Kremlin said Putin and Trump had agreed to meet and that the Russian president was impressed by Trump's position on ending the Ukraine conflict.
There is a political will which was emphasized during a conversation to conduct a dialogue in search of a settlement. There is agreement that a peaceful negotiated settlement is possible.
Trump said their first meeting would probably take place soon in Saudi Arabia. Trump announced that Secretary of State Marco Rubio, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Middle East Envoy Steve Witkoff would lead negotiations on ending the war. Trump and Zelensky spoke after Trump's call with Putin.
And I think we're on the way to getting peace. I think President Putin wants peace, and President Zelensky wants peace, and I want peace. I just want to see people stop getting killed.
Very substantive negotiations with the United States of America. I had a good, in-depth conversation with President Trump, and I appreciate the President's genuine interest in our shared opportunities and how we can bring true peace closer together.
The development followed remarks by US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth that Kyiv would have to give up its long-held goals of joining the NATO military alliance and regaining all of its territory seized by Russia.
We want, like you, a sovereign and prosperous Ukraine. But we must start by recognizing that returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective. Chasing this illusionary goal will only prolong the war and cause more suffering. That said, the United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine.
Reacting to the latest American moves, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte stressed that Ukraine must be a part of any peace talks and that a final deal to end Russian and Ukraine conflict must be enduring.
We all want peace in Ukraine, rather sooner than later. We all want Ukraine to be in the best possible position when those talks start, to make sure that they can be concluded successfully. And as also Pete Hegseth said yesterday, the new American Secretary of Defense, it is crucial that whatever comes out of those talks, it is durable, it is enduring. No Minsk III. We cannot have that again. We cannot have Putin again trying to capture a square kilometer, a square mile of Ukraine in the future.
EU's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, said Europe and Ukraine need to be involved in peace talks for any deal to work, and said it wasn't good tactics to give in to Russia's demands before negotiations have even started.
It is clear that any deal behind our backs will not work. Any agreement will need also Ukraine and Europe being part of it, and this is clear that appeasement also always fails. So Ukraine will continue to resist, and Europe will continue to back Ukraine.
Swedish Defense Minister Paul Johnson said that Ukraine could still join NATO in the future, provided it meets all the necessary conditions.
Well, as far as I understand, the U.S. position from this administration is that this is about they're claiming that NATO membership should not be part of this political agreement. I don't foresee the NATO membership as such being off the table for Ukraine. Our position is well known and communicated, and we stand behind what was said at the Washington summit, of course, that Ukraine's future is in NATO.
Prior to Trump's phone calls, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent held talks with Zelensky, where Bessent said that minerals deal will give Kyiv post-war security shield. Bureau Report, DD India.